Hi everyone, and we're live and we're doing things a little bit differently today. Hope you're all amazing. This is our season 5 of me going live every Tuesday with a bit more education, hints, tips, and actually some practical things that you can implement versus it being the motivation kick that you need, although I think that will happen as well. Morning Tamara, morning Kelly, lovely to see you guys popping in. So I have been thinking about different ways to kind of explain how you can wrap your brain around marketing, how you can wrap your brain around social media, how you can wrap your brain around building relationships online. So the biggest thing, hey Leanne, I think one of the easiest ways to kind of think about this is looking at how we build relationships when we are offline. So I remember when one of my best friends and I became friends. Well, we didn't become friends initially, actually. We decided to go out and have lunch together. A mutual friend introduced us, even though we'd known this particular family for a long time. My husband had grown up with this lady's brother-in-law, so like the families were known. So one of the things that we did, the first thing that we did, hey Christina, hey Tamara, good morning. One of the first things that we did was we went out to a really neutral place and we had lunch together. So I had my son at that time, he was in a little capsule, and we went out for lunch, and it was really easy, no brainer, kind of really neutral kind of territory. The conversations were kind of top level, right? In terms of they didn't really sort of scratch the surface. It was just a little bit like, well, you know, what do you do? What have you been up to? How do you guys work? How are the kids? You know, that was our common link. So the first thing that we do with anyone when we're starting to get to know them is that we start asking questions of each other, right? It's like, what do you do? How does it make you feel? Like what kinds of people do you work with? What do you love? And all of that type of thing. So the first part is trying to find some common ground. What kind of hobbies do you do? What do you do for fun? What kind of movies do you like? We went and saw this movie recently. You know, you look for common ground. So I want you to be thinking about when you might have made friends with somebody new. You know, what did you go through? What was that first conversation like? And most likely that first conversation probably feels really kind of clunky. To me, when I'm building conversations with people that I don't know, I personally find it a bit awkward. You know, it's like, well, what questions shall I ask? You know, I'm really curious about them. And it's like, I've got to do the thinking beforehand in order to work out how to build conversations. So that's the first thing. From after that lunch, what we then did, thanks Kelly, follow the thumb lines going up. The next thing that we did is that we had I was invited around to her place for a cup of tea. No word of a lie, it was a Friday before we had to go and get the kids from school. She said, oh, do you want to come around for a cuppa? I'm like, yeah, okay, that sounds great. I don't know if I had my kids or not that day, but went around, had a cup of tea, general kind of jibber jabber, and then from there it graduated to dinner, then our partners, and then we started going to each other's house, and now we do wine in pajamas. You know, we're super, super comfortable with each other and, you know, can talk about anything. But it really took time to build that trust, to build that rapport, and to get things going. So if you think about your marketing online, you know, why do we expect building relationships online to be any freaking different to the way that we build them offline? You know, we want to feel like we can get to know each other. We want to feel like there's a common link, that the people that we're talking to understand us, get us, can empathize with where we're at and really appreciate our perspective, right? So we want to feel understood and we want to feel heard. Because I can guarantee you that if you're starting to build a friendship with someone else and all they're doing is talking at you and you can't even get a word in edgewise or share your opinion, you're just going to go, you know what? This is just too freaking hard. This person is far too self-absorbed. And this is one of the challenges that people have when they're building their marketing processes and things like that online, is that they make it all about them. And you know what? No one gives a flying shit really about you and your experience. They just want to hear how you and your experience can help them either solve a problem or achieve a goal, a dream, a desire, an outcome, or something that they want, right? No one gives really a flying shit about you. They just want to know how you can help them, right? It's a little bit different in a friendship scenario, you know, like you've got that give and take, but it's the same with your relationships online. It's got to be give and take, right? You guys are giving me the thumbs up, thank you, and the hearts and the comments. I'm like, yeah. So that's what you're giving me, and I'm really happy to keep giving you guys content. Happy to keep giving you guys the things that you need. Now, the other thing that I want to highlight before we get into the actual strategy of this for how this plays out online. Hey, Jessica, nice to see you. How this plays out online is relationships and friendships and things like that can take time. An example that I love the heck out of sharing actually is a client of mine called Kate. And she has been following me. She told me that she's been following me since I started. So we're talking 2010. This page started in 2010 when I was doing style and branding with how you market yourself and your image and things like that in person and online. Now, 2010, she did not give me 1 red cent of her money until November 2017. So it took her 7 years of following me, reading my emails, watching me on Facebook before she gave me any money. So that's an example of someone who took a really long time to build trust, to build rapport, to make sure, to the best of her ability, that the timing then was right. And then she decided to do something. It's like she was activated. She decided to actually do something. Conversely, I've had other people who have followed me, they found me online yesterday, and then they give me money the very next day. You know, sometimes it's big ticket, sometimes it's little, it doesn't really matter. But most people take time. So that time frame can be really long, it can be short. Your job is about being consistent and consistently adding value to your audience and to your marketplace. Right? And remember, the thing that we need to do in order to give value to people is to help them. Otherwise, it is just more noise, more stuff, more things that are going to clutter up their inbox, clutter up their newsfeed that they're never going to do anything with. And then they'll just turn off, they'll tune out. So just want to make sure that this is going to work. Okay, now I know that this is mirrored, right? So I've done my very best to write things back to front, okay? So here's how this plays out online. Actually, I'm going to grab a different text. So online, we've got, in a relationship, right, where like, people are kind of like, I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't really see that. What about here? No, let's go here. They're kind of like, whatever. I don't really have an opinion of you. I think you might be okay, but I'm not kind of sure yet. And then they start to kind of go like a half smile, and then they're in like a really big smile, and then they start to love you, right? That would be the relationship process. Online, what we've got is we've got Facebook. Yes, I've got to do it back to front. We've got Facebook. It's almost like a love heart inverted. Then we've got Instagram. We've got LinkedIn. We have got your website. Anywhere that you show up online, we've got the ability for all of these people floating up and around here. We want to get them into your marketing funnel, right? In one way, shape, or form or another. I'm glad you're liking my back to front writing. It's really quite awkward. So this would be like going to a bar, right? You go to a bar or you go to your gym and you start chatting and you start having conversation, and then we want people, I'm not even going to try and write no backwards because that would be ridiculously hard. Hey Ash, hope you're awesome. I was thinking about you yesterday. I'm going to message you later. Okay, so something happens here, right? They make a decision to enter into your awareness or enter into a getting to know you process. So how do we get them from here, sitting in a bar, talking to all of the people, is we've got to go, hey, you know, it's really nice to see you, or it's really nice. I don't know how, I'm out of practice. I've been with Dom for more than 15 years, so I don't really necessarily know what you do here, but I imagine you'd be sitting there and you either approach someone or they approach you and like, hey, can I buy you a drink? You know, hey, you're here with friends, you know, you start having conversations, right? You start to decide whether this is someone you want to actually get to know a little bit better or not. How we do that online is by asking them for an email address and name and email. I hope you can kind of read that back to front the right way around. Right, so name and email. Yeah. So, hey, Beck, good morning. So we ask them for their name and email. And now, how do we build relationships, right? So we build relationships by two-way conversations, okay? So through here, what we do is we help them to get to know us and we're solving problems. So we're building rapport in a way that's automated, right? But it's still you, it's still your IP, it's your adding value. From there, what happens is they start to go, oh, this is really excellent. I really love this. You know, I'm really loving this drink. I would love your phone number. And I'm going to try and write that, right? Or, hey, get out your phone. Let's exchange QR codes for Snapchat or Instagram or whatever. You should find me on Facebook and follow me. So something happens here, right? We give them their information. They give you their information. And then we can start to build that up. Then, once they feel like they know you a bit more, they kind of decide whether or not they like you. Now, let's assume that we're talking best case scenario, right? And they're like, yeah, this is really cool. This is really great. I'm loving this. How about we go out for dinner? In a relationship, building scenario, that's a little arrow there. And God, if I see these illustrations anywhere else but on here, I'm going to laugh my backside off. So we go, would you, in a dating scenario, hey, do you want to go out for dinner? It's another low-level commitment that keeps you safe, right? Probably on neutral ground, neutral territory, because in a bar, if they go, oh, hey, do you want to go out for dinner? Before they've even had a chance to buy a drink together or have a coffee or anything like that, you know, going out for dinner with someone, in my opinion, is kind of it's a reasonably big step, particularly if it's like a one-on-one thing, right? So we've got to have consistent things happening in order for them to get to like us. Then what happens is we start to get them trusting us. So this is the kind of the transition here. When they trust us, they're going to love us even more, or like us, learn to like us even more. The like becomes maybe a little bit more like love. And then maybe you might decide to, that's a pillow and that's some people. You might decide to go home with them. Or they might ask you if you want to get married or if you want to get engaged or meet the parents or whatever that next step is. But again, you can't, most people, some do, but that's fine, go from here to here. Or this might happen really quickly, right? But your job is to keep making sure that you're being consistent, having conversations, and you actually start to learn more about them. The deeper into the process you go, the more you start to learn about them, right? So in the Melissa example, one of my friends, you know, the more we caught up, the deeper the stories got, the more we were open to sharing, the more she got to learn about who I am more at a core level versus kind of like at a surface level, right? So she really earned the right to hear what was going on in here. Your clients need you, or your prospects need you to do that as well. You need to earn the right by building this process up. You need to earn the right to have them share their deepest stuff with you, because the people that I work with are typically coaches, mentors, trainers, authors, consultants, personal trainers, people who are in the business of helping other people. I don't work with people that sell dresses, right? This process would still work, but that's not who I help. The people that I help are people who are in the business of helping other people. Now, if you're expecting someone that you've just found to share their deepest things that are keeping them stuck, demotivated, depressed, anxious, whatever it is, self-sabotaging, they're not going to share that stuff with you in the space of 3 seconds if they don't feel like they trust you yet, right? So your job is to do all of this and to build up all of this trust so that they're able to be open to you helping them. All right, I trust that this makes sense. If you've got any questions, please make sure you type them in. Let me know. I really want to make sure that you're getting this. What happens here from once they trust you is we've got this next thing that happens, which is where you become their trusted advisor. This is when people actually pay you, right? This is when you get, that's a diamond. This is where you get the diamond. This is when the commitment is made right down here. Okay, so it's not until you become a trusted advisor that they will hand over money, that they will share their innermost thoughts, dreams, fears, desires, goals, whatever with you, and that usually happens with a financial exchange, right? So your job in your marketing is to help them get to know you and to help them understand that you understand what they're going through, what their plight is, and everything like that. So how do you do it? Because there are a lot of people up in through over here, right? There are 2.2 billion people on Facebook for a start. 1.1 billion of those are on Facebook on a daily basis. So there is a lot of freaking noise going on out there. And we don't want all of the people in here because it'd get really congested and people would get lost in the process, and that's really unhelpful in my view of the world. So here's what we want to do. We want to know who your people are. I hope you can, oh no, we can't see that. Let's try this again. Hang on. This is how you know we're live, guys. Let's just get rid of the things that weren't back to front because you can't read them anyway. Okay. Kelly, the diamond, get out of my head. Yes. We all need that diamond transition, hey? Well, not all of us. I like diamonds. Diamonds are fun. So if we've got all of the different people over here, right? All these different people. If you're trying to get everyone in here, it's going to make your life a lot harder, because the way that we build rapport is by helping people feel heard, have problems solved, and everything like that. Okay? So what we need to do is to decide who of these people, and we've got 5 of them up here for now, who out of these people do we initially want to start building conversations with? Because if you pick this person, right, that's got that little, we'll give this person a hat. This person really wants to feel empowered. They really want to achieve their life's purpose, but they're really scared of leaving their job. They've got children, they've got people who are reliant on them, they've got responsibilities. They can't just kind of like whoosh, jump ship and make a different change. You know, that they've got to do things in a measured, kind of calculated way in order to be able to get the outcome that they want, because there is a lot riding on this person. I'm reasonably sure that if you're a mum and you're in this particular scenario, you can probably think of, off the top of your head without even breaking a sweat, probably 20 stress points that this person has here, right? That one. Conversely, if you're going with this person, that looks like a weird little thing, let's make that an arrow. If you're going for this person, and let's say that this is a male and he's working in corporate and he's managing people, like he's got team. So I'm being very stereotypical. Please, don't judge me for that. I'm just trying to make this as simple as possible for you. So we've got our male corporate guy who has a leadership team that he needs to manage. Now, we know that his stress points are time, people not doing as they're told, their team not performing in the way that they should. This guy's always traveling, he's doing things, he's always got business meetings, he's got people around him, and they're not always doing what they need to do. He constantly feels guilty that he's not managing his family time, his work time, he's looking for balance. He's looking for a way to feel fulfilled. He probably won't say it, but we know that that might be what's going on in the back of his head. If we think of these two people as an example, and we want to imagine what you could give them for free in terms of a free tool in exchange for their name and email address to get them over into our relationship building process. So for the lady, it might be a checklist. The 3 things, I don't know if you can even see that. The 3 things that you can do today to find your purpose. I don't know. Maybe that's not realistic. It might be 3 things that you can do today to eliminate overwhelm. 3 things that you can do right now to help get your kids to listen, right? If that's your biggest problem, that's what you're going to solve. For the guy, it might be the 3 steps to getting your team to do what they're told, right? So what's the biggest problem? We ask for their name and email address, and then we get them into your relationship building flow. That's how we do it. So that's how you would actually apply the dating formula, if you like, the gold ring or the platinum ring with the big ass diamond or the gold wedding band. This is how you apply the dating process into your marketing. Some people, what I want you to remember is that some people are going to build relationships, whether it's friendships, romantic relationships, or business relationships, in their own timeline, right? And it's not up to you to try and speed that up. You don't know what baggage they've got. If you're 25 and over, the chances are that you have got a whole swag of baggage that you have that makes you perhaps fearful or anxious or stressed or excited or motivated or pumped, right? When you're looking at building relationships. I know for me, by the time I was 25, I had a child. I was married, I think. Maybe, I can't remember if I was married. If I wasn't married, I was close to, no, I wasn't married yet. I was seeing Dom, but I had a kid. I was seeing Dom, and I had a really horrific relationship history, right? So by the time that I met Dom, I kind of had this list of criteria. There's this is my baggage. These are the things that need to be done, right? So for other people, it might be that you don't have so many criteria, but most people have got stuff. They might have been burned from previous mentors before. Maybe they're completely green to this whole process that you're taking them through, and they've never done anything like it before, and they're just really scared. They just really want it to work, and they have no idea what to expect. So your job through this process would be to help them understand, this is what you can expect from working with me. This is what you can expect when it comes time for us to do our consulting. This is what you can expect when it comes time for you to be in a room with us. So you help them manage their expectations through your marketing, right? So even at this point, with with a trusted advisor process, the clearer you can be through here, the easier it is going to be by the time you get down to that bottom section down there. God, I feel like a weather presenter. Ha! That's really hilarious. All right, so that is how this is applied. Remember, it takes consistency. You've got to know your people because you don't need to be talking to everyone. Did you know that if you have an average spend of $6,000 a year by a client over a year or as a one-off, all you need is 83 people to pay you money in order for you to make $500,000. 83 people out of 2.2 billion people that are on Facebook, out of all of the people that are on Instagram, out of all of the people that are on LinkedIn, out of all of the people that are out there in the big wide world that we can reach, you don't need 1 million of them. You don't even need 1,000 of them. You don't even need 100 of them. 83 people will have you pay at $6,000 over a year will make you $500,000. So the more specific you can be up here, usually the faster and more seamless that relationship building process becomes. All right. My name's Nicola. I'm really grateful for you guys to be hanging out with us today and to be doing this a little bit differently. I really hope that the mirrored writing has come out because that's kind of broken my brain. So next week on our Big Fat Live, we're talking about perfection and the fact that it's actually overrated. And I guess like the really big thing with that is this is something that I've personally worked through. You know, it's something that I've struggled with over the years. I came from corporate. So I was very like, when I first started out in the business and doing my blogs and things like that, I was just very, hi, my name's Nicola. And I talked really high, like the way that I spoke was like really like, it was really hilarious. So I'm going to be chatting with you about perfection next week and how to get rid of that, how you can, when you embrace that, how it actually makes your marketing easier. It makes everything that you do in business easier, and it's actually going to help your prospective clients. It's going to help your audience actually work through this process in a much more seamless and faster way because you're just kind of being you. So that's me for today. If you want to learn more about this, you can buy my book. I will write that under, I won't write anything. I will post the link below here. If you guys want to grab yourself a copy, I'd love to send it to you. Have a really amazing Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll chat with you guys next week. Hopefully not on a mirrored whiteboard. All right, guys, take care.